Storm surge and flooding swamped parts of Cape Cod this winter. To study how this can be prevented in the future, the Storm Tide Pathway Project received a grant from the Seaport Economic Council to map the Bayside from Sandwich to Provincetown.
We talked about a grant that we got from the Seaport Economic Council, and we're going to be working with the Center for Coastal Studies to do some new flood mapping. So basically what this new mapping does for us is gives us how water moves through a community and how it reaches its total extent, so we know where we might have problems with flooding on roads and where we might need to redirect traffic, and if we can put in some sort of infrastructure to stop it at one point from flooding a large area behind it.
Researchers tested the concept of storm tide pathway mapping in a real-world application for Truro and Provincetown and found meaningful results.
We've done a few studies now, and we did a study in Provincetown that looked at this very problem, and what we found was that there were quite a few really vulnerable spots, areas in town where the water could get in, and if those were addressed, we could stop that flooding from happening. And unfortunately, between the time that we completed the report and the time the storm happened, the town wasn't able to address those right away, so there was some flooding this last winter with all the storms.
The project considers not only the now, but also accounts for a potential 3-foot sea level rise over the next century in their mapping, so everyone from first responders to civilians can benefit for years to come.
For civilians, we're hoping to be able to use it to let people know where they can drive and how they can move around in their neighborhoods or outside of their neighborhoods, because we frequently have roads during big storms that are flooded, and we don't want people driving through those. One, because their cars stall out and then they get stuck, but also because if the water's moving, a foot of water can make an adult get knocked over and get pushed away, and there are a lot of drownings that way. So we don't want to see that either. So we want to discourage people from driving through flooded roads and help them do that safely. And then for first responders, same thing. We want to help them to figure out what routes they can take to access people. If one road is flooded out, another route that they might be able to use to get to a neighborhood.